second protest march that we've had against this insane, cruel badger cull in towns and cities across this country in the last 4 years. That is the biggest rolling wildlife protest movement anywhere in Britain, but also anywhere in Europe for decades. So let's hear a round of applause for those who oppose horrible badger culling. And we're here, of course, because we're on the verge of a massive extension of this cruel, crazy, costly policy. Do any of us here believe there's any justification for killing thousands of badgers over bovine TB, do we? No! Do we believe there's any justification for spending £50 million of taxpayers' money? £50 million, that's £1,100 per badger so far, and we could spend £100 million by 2020. Is that right? No! We know that most of those badgers have no TB at all. The government sat on evidence for a year and a half. It hid the data of over 900 badgers that it tested in 2016. Of all of those badgers, we estimate that only 3%, based on the data that DEFRA's given us, had late-stage TB where they were a risk to other badgers and possibly cattle. So 97% of the badgers slaughtered in this cruel, costly, mad cull policy are completely free of disease. Is that right? No! Absolutely disgusting. It's a waste of money, and we know it's very cruel. We know that half of the badgers that have been killed, half of that 35,000 have been killed by a so-called controlled shooting method that could result in them taking over 5 minutes to die, crawling away of multiple gunshot wounds, organ failure and blood loss. Do any of you think that's acceptable in 21st century Britain, do we? No! It's an absolute national disgrace, and the government have no evidence at all to show that all of this slaughter is actually lowering bovine TB in cattle. In some areas, based on the statistics the government gives us, the disease could actually be going up as a result of this madness. Do you think that's right? No! But it's up to us, it's up to the caring, compassionate British people to keep coming onto the streets, to keep lobbying our politicians, to keep getting us into the national and local media. This week it's been in The Guardian about the cost. This week it's been in The Independent about the danger of live badgers being taken from cull contractors and handed over to badger baiters and organised criminal gangs. We know that a cull contractor will get paid about £50 for killing a badger, but we know that to a criminal gang, a live badger could be worth up to £1,000. Are you worried? Are you worried that these badgers could be passed over? I am. Yes. So not only is this wrong scientifically, not only is this wrong because it's costing a huge amount of money and not helping farmers, we could be actually feeding the illegal wildlife trade as a result of this criminal policy. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. And we also know that badgers are under threat from many problems at the moment. Not only badger culling, we lose probably 50,000 badgers on our roads every year. We're losing thousands to developers as we build more homes, as we build railway projects like HS2, as we build new projects into our green belt, and we weaken the planning laws that are there to protect wildlife, bats, newts and badgers. Are you worried about that? I am. Yes. And then of course we have the wildlife criminals. We know that on the shooting estates they're killing badgers illegally. We know that building developers are ploughing over badger sets illegally. We know that the hunts are filling in badger sets illegally. We know that the badger baiters are still at it, sending their dogs down badger sets to rip them apart. Do any of you think that's acceptable? No! So you must keep supporting the Badger Trust, keep supporting Born Free, keep supporting the League Against Cruel Sports, keep supporting the hunt monitors, keep supporting the hunt sabs, the eyes and ears in the countryside. We must make a stand against this madness. It's badgers today, but as we've seen this week, there's been culling of ravens is now being considered. There's talk about culling our otters again because they're causing problem for anglers. None of our wildlife is safe in our countryside. It's pristine, it's important not just for us but for future generations. We must make a stand. We're caring, compassionate, but we will fight over this. No one is going to take our badgers away. No one is going to destroy our countryside. And no government is going to go on with this cruel, mad, costly policy. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah! So let's keep shouting, let's keep marching, and let's everyone here in this town and across this country that we will stop this madness. Thank you.